Hello and welcome to Breaking Late. I'm your host, Michael, and with me back from this time, he's race fit. He's had his week off.
Yes.
JD, how are you?
Unlike Pascal, I'm back and ready to race fit again.
Yes? Well, you didn't have a big crash, did you? Not in the
No.
Race of Champions? You weren't in that?
No. Unfortunately, I didn't get the call up this year. Maybe next year, though. I think it must got lost in the mail or something.
Got probably caught in your spam box in
Yeah.
the inbox.
Yeah. There. I'll be there next year.
You'll be there next year? No, that's nice. It's good to have you back. Big thank
Good
you.
to be back.
A big thank you for Mitch for filling in last week. You did a great job, Mitch.
Still an effort, mate. Well done.
Very much appreciate that. Now we're back to our traditional driver lineup or host lineup. Either. We're all drivers. We drive every day.
Microphones.
Yeah, drive these microphones. If my microphone is a bit off this week, it's my mic arm is broken, and I'm now carrying a 3-kilo microphone all episode. So if it drops down behind, it's because my arm's getting tired and I'm a little girl.
Yep.
I said
Yes.
that. What a weekend.
It was pretty
A wet and
jam-packed.
rainy weekend.
Yeah, a lot of weather problems and caused a bit of mischief in both of them, really.
It really did.
Both of them, I should.
in
Formula One
Tasmania.
and also in the Virgin Australia Supercars.
Yes. You didn't catch much of the Super 2s.
No,
I
I
tried
didn't.
to watch the Friday one, but it's on during work hours, so I had to have my phone up against my computer screen at work because, have to do work. You can't sit there and watch the V8s all day. I tried to. The boss left early, so shh, don't tell anyone. It was a good race on the Friday.
Yeah, I managed to catch the end of it, the end of the race, which was a little bit disappointing to watch our mate Bryce have a little bit of a brake lock up as he was making a passing move and lose quite a lot of positions, which probably hindered him and caused a bit of an incident later on.
Yeah, well, the braking issues is exactly what he was saying on the interview that we had with him.
Yeah,
Whereas his car is
weaker.
It has the issues in the braking.
Yeah. So it was good to see him putting in a strong effort, and
We qualified 12th, I think, with Gary Jacobson got excluded for failing to obey the red flags or something. I'm not 100% sure he failed to obey the red flags.
Yeah, well, there was a red flag in qualifying. Bryce got affected by it as well. Bryce was on a hot lap, which was actually faster than the lap he ended up with. And when the red flag come out, he had to slow down, obviously, and didn't get that lap, which sort of cost him a little bit in qualifying, put him back in 12th. Then he was fighting uphill battle with the fact that his car's not quite as strong as those cars around that track. And he had good pace. He could stay with them and everything, but he just couldn't get past. And when he went for the lunge, it just pinched a brake and couldn't stop it.
At least he managed to get it off the wall because he obviously did this in turn 4 into the hairpin, tapped the wall. I think he tapped the wall, or he got it stopped.
He stopped it, but
had to let the whole field pretty much go past, and then
pluck reverse and then and head out again.
Unfortunately, that's just.
I think he ended up in 16th or 17th or something like that.
Yeah.
After that incident, which was a bit of a shame. And then that put him back in the field for the second race, which was obviously where the incident was. In the wet the next day.
Yeah, and I mean that race was taken. Dumbrell took that race win. He had a pretty dominant weekend. Dumbrell, he's performing really good, but it's nice to see. Todd Hazelwood was keeping him honest pretty much most of that race.
Todd looks really strong this year. He looks like he stepped it up from last year. He's looking really, really good. My pick out of all of the Development 2 drivers at the moment, but is Will Brown.
Yeah,
He's
young
doing
Will Brown.
great.
He's performing really well for his first year in there. I think he got a third or a fourth on the Friday.
He can pedal a car pretty well, obviously.
He got third
in
on Friday.
other categories, and but to jump in the ring with these cars are quite hard to drive compared to other race categories. They're quite a heavy car, a lot of power. It's hard to get him around the track, and he was doing a great job in the wet and in the dry.
I mean, this would have been a very steep learning curve for a lot of the drivers in the conditions that they were racing in.
Yeah, it was pretty treacherous out there over the weekend, main game and in Super 2s.
So we'll talk about race 2 of the Super 2s.
Yep.
Call
Call it for me.
Call it for it? No, I'm not going to call it, but oh god, that was that was sad to watch. First
Yeah.
lap,
Bit of gear torn up.
yeah, and I mean, the BJR guys, they've had a shocking weekend. With Macaulay Jones got spun round. I can't remember everyone. The only other people I remember is Bryce that got involved in it. But yeah, that was sort of unlucky for Bryce. He really had nowhere to go.
It's one of those tracks. It funnels down in there. They come off that corner, and when they're in the wet, I think that's turn 3. They come around in the bend in the straight. They're actually going quite quick. I think they're doing over 200 k's an hour when they get around there. And in the wet, they just aquaplane a little bit, get it offline, and bang, they're into the concrete. And once that happens, it's just a funnel. There's concrete on both sides. You've got 20 odd cars trying to funnel down through this bit of tarmac that's only 3 cars wide, and all of a sudden you've got a car that's sideways across it. It's just disaster, and we've seen that obviously in development series, in Super 2s, and also in the main game on the Saturday. Big problems, but that's just racing. There's nothing you can really do about it. The conditions were tough, but unfortunately there was a lot of people that got dragged into these crashes that probably didn't need to be there, and obviously were trying to do the right thing. They're trying to slow down, then you get hit from rear or whatever. It's just one of those things. There's not much you can do.
Yeah. I was watching that going, I mean, we all know Bryce is getting a new car in Townsville, and that's 2 rounds away. I think they got Phillip Island a break, then they go to WA, or they do Winton. I don't know their schedule. But either way, I know he's got a few more rounds, and then they go to Townsville, and then he gets his new car. And part of me was going, well, maybe instead of repairing this car, like, can the Kelly brothers give him a car? Can they take delivery of the new Altima early? Well, that all went out the window later in the day, didn't it?
Yeah. They tend to they tore up a few things on Rick's car as well. He was actually out for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, well, they're saying that chassis's never racing again.
Yeah, which is pretty crazy because they can normally repair nearly anything, but obviously it's more cost effective to build a whole new chassis for Rick, which is a bit of a shame because I think that other spare chassis might have been the chassis that Bryce might have been getting later in the year.
Yeah, well, they were having to build. That's one of the reasons why they could only give 2 cars at the start, was because they're still in. If they sold them the 3 cars straight up, then they had no spare, and they wanted to have a spare, and now, well, they've got no spare.
Well, they were very conscious of that later in the week, and I heard Caruso on Sunday saying we definitely don't want to tear up another car here because we're going to be in big trouble.
Yeah, and it's the pecking order, and Rick's the first one in, so.
Yeah.
And it's a bit hard with the Nissans. Like, what would they do? I mean, hypothetically, if they did ruin 2 cars, and they couldn't get both of them built.
Honestly, I do not know. They might hit up the development series to
Right.
get one back.
Hey, Matt, can we have our cars back just for a race?
To be honest, yeah, I would say Shay Davies would probably lose his car. I don't know what they would do, to be honest. They'd work around the clock, obviously, to build one car. Possibly could get done. I don't know. 2 weeks, unless they've already got it on the jig.
I mean,
it'd be hard pressed. I don't know if
yeah.
it could get done.
There'll be a lot of boys and girls there missing Easter. I
Well,
mean, there is a lot of boys and girls this year missing Easter.
They've already said all the staff members that had leave have all cancelled their leave.
That's something you got to
saying.
think about. Like, it's not just a 9 to 5 job working in these championships, like in supercars or in any motorsport.
It's a really high commitment job. I've got a couple of mates that work as mechanics in race teams and stuff like that, and it is really high commitment stuff. It's, big hours. You're pulling 70 hours a week on a short week, up to 90 hours, if not more.
And it's
they
not
literally, all they do is eat, sleep, go to work.
Yeah, and it's not one of those jobs that you're like, all right, weekends here, yeah, party. You're like, weekends here. Now we're going to the racetrack.
Yep.
And we work extra overtime.
I think what they used to say was it was actually nice once the car was in the trailer, because then they could have maybe a day off before or 2 days off before they had to fly out. That was the best rest time that they actually got.
Yeah, they must like the big drive away ones. Like when they go to Darwin, they're like, 3 days without the car, we can't do anything.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm sure there's things around the factory that they can do, but it's not as
sweep the floors.
Oh yeah, and it's amazing how much work goes into these cars. prepping doors, tearing skins off, and
Well, there
prepping
was a thing
spares,
on
and
the Supercars website where they took Neil Compton did a tour of the Kelly factory.
yeah. The
And
Nissan
yeah, he
one,
showed you that they've got the full CNC machine where they basically make all their new parts.
Yep.
They've also got a full livery, like sticker printing, which I think they also do
Some of the
printings
development
for the
series.
other cars and stuff as well, not just the Nissan. So, I mean, that's a way to branch out.
Yeah,
I always think about this, like, Triple Eight guys, they've managed to turn and this works while they're being competitive, while everyone still wants to buy their chassis, but as soon as they're not quick, they've got this whole investment in, we make all these chassis, we're selling it to all these teams, so like every second car is like a Triple Eight car.
It's true. It is true.
So that's where they're getting a lot more of their, I guess it's a bit more income as well.
Yeah.
As that's the second side of the business.
Cost.
I mean, that works great while, you're winning championships and you're winning all these races until you're not, and you're not competitive, then it's really hard to sell your cars, isn't it? But yeah, a little bit sidetracked here. But so race 2, very short. I think they did 6 laps, and that's another one I was surprised that they were offering points. But then again, Super 2s do points over the whole weekend. They're the ones that still do rounds, so you win the round.
Yeah.
Dumbrell led home on that race with Todd Hazelwood and followed by LeBrock, and those Nissans were looking very strong.
Yeah, Shea was a lot quicker this weekend. I did notice that he's obviously adapted a bit to the car. Maybe he's done a bit of work with the engineers and stuff like that, so he was a lot better than he was at Clipsal. LeBrock's starting to look more at home too. Obviously, he got the first ever win for Nissan in the development series, which was pretty crazy, on his second meeting in, so that's really good.
Yeah, for them to get their head around the cars that early. It would be a big adapt. I mean, they were both driving Fords last year, were they?
LeBrock was...
Oh, LeBrock was racing for...
Shea was driving a Ford as well, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, well, LeBrock was with ProDrive.
Yeah, and Shea did also do that short stint with Erebus in the main game as well, driving a Holden.
So, yeah, he must have obviously that Loco Energy drink is his personal backer.
Yeah.
Which is still on the Erebus.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's...
Which is kind of funny. Off topic again.
No, that's all right. We can go off
Loco Energy, I've never seen that. Maybe it's a gym energy drink or something, and I'm a lazy bloke.
To be honest, a lot of the time. Like Loco Energy, never heard of it. Big Mate, never heard of it. Go Getter, never heard of it.
Yeah, it's true. It is true.
Middies Electrical, have heard of.
True.
I do buy stuff from there. A lot. But then Wilson Security, yeah, have heard of it. Wins, yeah, everyone's heard of them because they used to do the I was going to say Kmart Auto, but it was Kmart Auto. Then Wins,
yeah, sponsor. Yeah. Wins has been in motorsport for a long time. They backed off a little bit. We actually own a workshop and we use a lot of Wins products. Quite good stuff. Yeah,
they're good quality. Wins stubby coolers.
Yeah, they're good. Josh Keen's stubby coolers, they do keep a beer quite cold.
Yeah. So, if you're looking for a good quality stubby cooler,
go out and get Keen's stubby cooler. Not that he's been lighting the world on fire back there in 11th.
That was in race 3.
In an FGX. He, they've done a good job to rebuild that car.
Yeah, because I don't know how much crash in Adelaide.
That would have been an expensive little incident in Adelaide.
Mm.
He moved that concrete barrier so far. I know we've already covered it in another episode, but that was pretty heavy hit.
One of the FGXs that did set the field alight was Gary Jacobson.
He is he found his pace again.
Yeah, he just moved up through the field. Like this race, like for a track that's not the most passable, you really only got around turn 6 and turn 4 to pass.
I think he said he made over 40 passes over the weekend, which he was quite happy with. He said, "Look, we've done to get where he finished over all the races." He said, "We've done the hard yards. We've worked really hard to get there, and it's really good practice for when he's got an endurance drive actually, Gary."
Yeah. He's with Mostyn, I think.
I can't remember which one of the PRA
one of the
boys.
PRA guys.
But yeah, he's got an endurance drive, and he said it's really good for when I get to Bathurst to have this passing and stuff like that under his belt. Really good practice.
And to round out race 4, LeBrock took it home in the Nissan. Todd Hazelwood sort of struggled a bit at the end. He ran out of pace, or his
I
tyres
reckon they
were
must
gone.
have started with a bit higher pressures.
Mm.
Or maybe car balance as the fuel burnt off. Maybe his car balance went out. But he definitely he was really strong at the start, and then that car he was just dancing around towards the end. It ran out of tyres. Maybe it was too hard on the throttle. I don't know. But it definitely ran out of grip, and he was struggling, and he did really well to hold on to third.
Yeah, well, he did a good job, and Paul Dumbrell just pipped him for the round win.
2 points, yeah, that was pretty rough.
Yeah.
It's Dumbrell's looking strong this year, but for the championship,
he's in
really
a good
strong.
car. I know at the start, and I was very much going, why the hell is Paul Dumbrell still in this series? And apparently, according to Rusty, a lot of people were tweeting him over the weekend, asking him the same question, But I'm just using Paul Dumbrell as a measuring stick. That's what he is.
Well, that's exactly what... was it Bryce that said it when we interviewed him? Yeah, he said it's good to have people like Paul Dumbrell in the field, because if you can beat Paul Dumbrell, he's a class driver. Like
Paul
he's a
Dumbrell
good
would still do
measuring
well
stick.
in the main game.
Yeah, he's still good enough to drive the main game. So if you can beat him in development series, that's a pretty good sign for the teams to be looking at you, and also endurance drives, yes, but maybe even a main game deal sooner enough.
Yeah.
So, it's
Which
good to
I
have
wouldn't be
someone like that.
surprised if Todd, the way he's going, I know it was still very early. We've only done, 8 races or something with the Super 2s, but Todd's looking like he's someone that will or should get a main game drive.
I think there's a couple of drivers in there that probably deserve it, and Todd's definitely up there.
I mean, we're still very early on in the season.
Oh, yeah, but I'm talking previous seasons as well. So he's finally got a good car. Well, he had a good car last year. It was not too bad. But he's got a really good car this year, and he's showing what he can do now. It's really, really good. He's got the same spec car that Paul Dumbrell's got.
Yep. The VF. It's a Triple 8 built car, probably. They're all probably Triple 8 built cars.
So Paul Dumbrell's running Jamie Wincup's car from last year.
Yep, and the spare car too.
And Todd's actually running Craig Lowndes' car from last year.
Ah, okay. Yep, same cars.
So same spec car, and both doing a great job. Just coming down to engineering and driver skill on the day. Move on to the Virgin Australia Supercars.
Yeah, the main game, and then qualifying in the wet. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't see qualifying. I know. No, qualifying was Saturday.
Yeah,
you were out. I was mowing the lawns, and then come back, was like, shit. And then I turned on Foxtel, which we'll touch on Foxtel later. Luckily, I could rewind as much as I could, and I got the last 10 seconds of qualifying. Like, well, to be honest, I got the good bit. Scotty McLaughlin managed to take out pole there.
It's quite a good little battle going on between him and Fabs.
I like it.
Scotty doesn't seem happy, but I think there's something going on background.
Scotty was fine at the start of the weekend, and this is something we'll touch on after we
touch on qualifying.
Chaz, very racy in qualifying.
Yeah, he's got his mojo back. Now he's back with his engineer. He's really looking a lot better this year. I think Frosty better look out, because Chaz is definitely the PRA.
He's the poster boy now.
Yeah, he's the golden child at PRA. He's got the pace. He's a little bit more level-headed than he used to be too. So, admittedly, he did make mistakes this weekend, but he is going to start to bloom again, I think.
Shane was back up there again in third. He was showing good pace through the weekend. The biggest surprising one was the Erebuses.
Yeah.
The 2 Erebuses, they were in the top 10 with Davey Reynolds in 4th and Dale Wood in 7th.
Which is really good for Wood. It's really good for Reynolds as well. It's really strong to see Erebus back up there. Jamie Whincup probably wasn't happy. He was a little bit off Shane's time. Not too much, only 1/10, but 1/10 comes a little bit off.
The 3
short
Triple
track.
8 cars in the top 6.
Yeah. Craig would have been a bit happier that he was back up close to Jamie and to Shane again because he was lacking in the last couple of meetings from them. But yeah, in Dale Wood, that's one of the better efforts
This is
I've
the best
seen
weekend I've seen from Dale.
for a long
At
time.
least in qualifying.
Yeah, and he was looking racy in one of the races, and then it was the qualifying I was watching.
Yeah.
And then he
was
speared it
just
off.
setting lap times, and yeah. I even messaged you during qualifying on the Sunday going, Dale Wood's looking really good. That is a quote that I never thought I'd say.
It's true. It's true. He's copped a lot of hate in our circle.
A circle of two. So yeah, that's qualifying for the Saturday race, which, all right,
Was a bit of a non-event.
it was a non-event.
Well, it was a big event.
I mean, you were very lucky. You decided, nah, I'm going to risk it. I'm going to go fishing instead of watching the race.
I risked it for the best it.
And the race gods were like, all right, JD, I'll let you catch up by only giving you a 3-lap race.
Yes. I went out. We caught
on,
well
Mega.
over 100 barramundi
Let's get
for
the
the day.
brag mat
Yes,
out
it's
on.
true. The brag mat doesn't show very much because most of them were quite small. We won't talk about that. But we did have quite a good day's fishing, and I managed to
Quantity
come
over
home.
quality.
We did. That did come out on the day, actually. We did talk about there was very much quantity over quality. And I got back Sunday and managed to watch 2 screens at once and catch up on everything.
I was
which is
making
great.
sure that as soon as you got into reception that you would get the messages and know exactly, like, at least you'd know that Bryce crashed out and, oh my God, you missed 12 cars of carnage. Like,
Well, you know what was quite funny? I've never ever had reception on a particular river that we're in as the Murray River system in the Northern Territory. I've never had reception in Sampan, which is the creek off it, ever before. And we'd been fishing all day. I hadn't had turned my phone to flight mode or anything. It was probably about 8 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. We'd been in the water for 14 hours. And all of a sudden, my phone just started getting messages. I couldn't send any, but it was
You can
just
get
getting
some.
messages. And all I get is, Bryce has crashed out. Doesn't look good. Oh, massive crash in V8s. And I'm like, I want to know what's going on.
that's
It was
what
worse.
you get for leaving. Nah.
it was worse than not knowing anything.
Well, to be honest, even watching the race live, we didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
So
I did get that gist after watching on Sunday, even when they were talking pre-race and stuff. It was a very confused little weekend.
the problem is, and this is something that I want to put a question to you right now, is we all know when free-to-air had the rights to the TV, like, so when in Australia, Channel 7 and Channel 10 pretty much fight over it because Channel 9 is just shit when it comes to motorsport. They're hopeless.
Channel 9, I don't think you're that interested either.
Nah, they're too busy on rugby.
And cricket.
Yeah.
Cricket's their
That's their
love
bread
child,
and butter.
and then the rugby is another thing that they do well.
They even fuck up football. Channel 9.
What,
AFL,
AFL?
when they have it, they're horrible at it.
Channel 7's very much more dedicated to
Yeah,
AFL.
Channel 7 like it. Because see, okay, this is very localized. Channel 9 is all like very New South Wales, and Channel 7's very Victoria. So that's why.
I find Channel 9 more Queensland and Channel 7 Sydney.
Really?
Yeah. That's why they do Sunrise and everything in Sydney.
I guess
All their
I
news-
only watch Channel 7 when the footy's on, so I'm only seeing Victoria.
Yeah, like all their news seems to be circled around. It is quite funny. This is something that a lot of people from down south
probably
get,
don't understand. But
because
like,
we only get 2 local
we got
news.
2 local. We got ABC and Channel 9.
Yeah,
they're
and
the
Channel
only
9
ones
do
that
quite a
local.
good job for our local news.
Very.
This is
very good.
way off topic. I'm sure you're all listening to find out about our news, but Channel 7 and Channel 10, we basically might as well not watch the news because it's all about who crashed
Channel
the car and what freeway and
Yeah,
Sydney.
yeah, like freeways. What are freeways? We are, in the Northern Territory, we only got a freeway that's got fucking like 5 traffic lights all over it. I'm like, I don't think you understand what a freeway is.
Yeah,
We only
and
got
it's
one of
4
them.
lanes wide, and that's only 2 lanes in each direction.
Yeah, we only got one of them about 2 years ago.
So what were we
Where
talking
were we
about?
at?
Racing?
Okay, here's my question. When Channel 7 had the V8 supercars, they wanted the races in the afternoon to lead into the news programs.
It was, and they were pushing him very much,
They
and
were
I did
trying to
not
get-
like that.
Yeah. we've still got that mentality. Like, there's still like these Saturday races, and this is why we can't see anything about this crash, because the sun's coming down, the spray's going up. They wanted these afternoon races. Well, Foxtel now do 99% of the broadcasting.
Fox still do 100% of the broadcasting.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, like, Channel 10
pick
pick it up every now and then. But, 99% of the broadcast is on Foxtel, and if you want to watch it, you need to do that.
I agree.
Why are we doing these afternoon races when Foxtel don't have a news program or anything else they need to lead into?
Is that the prime viewing time in general, Bob? Is it a statistic that we probably need to look at? Maybe
why
most
can't we
people
do
watch
midday? Why can't we do lunchtime races, and then we don't have these time certain races?
I feel that they did. It's not just for TV numbers. It's also for trying to keep people at the track. So I know with like from go-karts and stuff like, they'd normally try and schedule the biggest event. So like the biggest premier class, most karts, best drivers, whatever, last, so that people would hang around and watch the race. Because if your son finished at lunchtime and he was in the biggest class, a lot of people pack up and go home.
Yeah, I guess it is a bit like that. But I mean, I remember when it was like that up in Darwin, going on the Saturday with my old man. We'd go watch the V8s, and as soon as the V8s used to finish at like 2:00.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone packs up and goes, and then you've still got like 6 or 7 support cards, like support races going on.
Yeah, exactly.
We used to stay and watch it because we're like,
Mad
racing.
King,
Yeah, let's go. But I just think if we did these races earlier, we don't have the news to run into. We don't have another. We're not trying to piggyback off the viewers going into the next program. Can we do them a bit earlier, because then we're not so much restricted with these time certainty races?
Yeah, well, it's a big thing. I don't think there's a real proper answer for either, because time certain is a big thing for TV rights, TV schedules.
Well, the time certain really for this, and the only reason why is because of it got too dark.
Yeah. I don't think you're going to get away with it, because I think they're always going to want to put the premier event last on the, maybe last or second last. They're not going to want to push it halfway through the day.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a real hard one. Like, I don't think there's a silver bullet for it. I just think it is what it is, and we've sort of got to cop it on the chin. It's just what it is. Maybe delay it till Sunday and have a really busy Sunday and drop a support category. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, support categories out there.
That's right. You've got
I'm very,
support
very,
categories.
very, very sorry. You deserve to be out there just as much as they do, but unfortunately, people aren't watching.
Okay, well then, did you support what Russell Ingall said, where it said that race should have been just abandoned and rerun on the Sunday morning?
Yeah, that's what I think. It should have been abandoned. I think it was a bit of a farce that they tried to run it again.
Oh, that was stupid when they... I know we haven't even touched on the incident, but we'll get to that.
We're dancing around the incident.
Dancing around
We've been dancing around since we started recording.
The fact that they started to... they're like, oh, I don't know who in CAMS was like, we have to finish this race. Like, it was... Well, I'm looking at... I had the time in Tasmania, which turns out half an hour difference. Daylight savings is finished now. I had that on one of my screens next to the live timing, and I'm looking at what their time certainty was, and I'm messaging Mitch going, I don't even know why they're getting in their cars, because Mitch is like, oh, they're getting in their cars, they're going to go. I'm like, yeah, but they've literally got 2 minutes plus 1 lap. I'm like, okay, granted, it's Tasmania, so you're probably going to get, 3 laps at race pace? Yeah. But they're not going to start. They start under safety car. Why did they drive around for 2 laps under safety car, then go, all right, you guys get the checkered flag?
Yeah, no, it's just ill managed. It was just funny. It's just stupid, really.
And apparently, according to CAMS, that justified as a race.
Yeah,
4 laps.
I think
official counter says.
Sometimes we look at the rule book too much, and like I know we have to run by the rules, but I think sometimes we look at the rules and go, "Nah, it fits the rule. That's it." It's like you got to take common sense in every now and then and go, hang on a second. One, we're not making anyone happy because we're not putting on a show, and that's what V8 is.
Gary Rogers was not happy. and see, this is something you would have missed by catching 100 fish. You missed all the awkward dead air when you've got Scafey and Crompto and the commentary team trying to read through all their books, and like they pretty much were on air for an hour and a half, I think.
Yeah.
There's only so many times you can replay the accident and try and go, oh, well, this happened here and this caused this, and they were running out of things to talk about. And then they were like, oh, we're going to start the race again. And Scafey's going, well, no, according to section yada, 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 a race can't be unless it's done 50% of race distance.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm no rocket scientist, but 4 out of 50 is not 50%.
Yeah.
And when there was all this talk about awarding points, I mean, we're both Triple Eight fans, and Triple Eight got a 1, 2, 3. But I messaged a few people, just hashtag not my race. Like,
yeah,
that wasn't a race. That was stupid. And I watched the press conference.
Yeah.
And I know that we're not the greatest interviewers or people at asking questions and stuff like that, but we could have done a better job than the 2 people that asked questions that just pissed off Shane. Shane got really annoyed at there. They were basically trying to they wanted Shane to say, I wanted points. And Shane was like, and all the Triple Eight boys up there too, were going, no one here's celebrating.
Yeah.
We're not running home to show people the trophy I got for this race. Like,
yeah, exactly.
That was the hollowest victory you could probably ever have.
Yep. And those 3 have won a lot of races. They would know what it feels like to win a race. Maybe if it had been someone that's never won a race before, they probably would have got excited. But those 3 they've done their time at feeling that great exhilaration of winning a race, and that would not have felt good to them.
There was only 1.5 laps under green flag for that race. Like, it wasn't. Oh, technically, the last 2 turns were under.
And you got to think people like Jamie Whincup would have known that Will was in pretty bad way and he was on his way to hospital, and stuff like that. These guys do have hearts and also brains. They would have known how bad this is for a lot of the V8 community. This has been a pretty bad weekend. It's put a big dent in a lot of budgets that maybe were tight already.
There was, would Crompo say, over $5 million worth of cars in that pile-up?
Yeah.
So we'll try and jump onto
the pile-up.
I mean, we're not going to talk about who hit who and did what.
It was
Fabian's fault.
Incident.
It was Fabian's fault, and he got ducked 35 points for it.
He did.
Then Ryan Story goes, I don't think the punishment fitted the crime.
I know. I was like, ooh.
You wrote off 4 cars could not continue. 12 cars got taken out of the race. And you're like, 35 points. That's not that. I mean, Todd Kelly's got a 35-point penalty for, I think he took 1 car out. And it wasn't even written off for the weekend.
Yeah, it was pretty rough.
What do you think? Do you think it was Fabian's fault, or do you think
it's very hard in those conditions? I can understand what Ryan's saying. It was a bit of a rough,
because Fabian's issue was really with Rick.
Yeah,
that was their incident.
Yeah, they got tangled up. Rick ended up in the wall, and then the rest was.
Well, it wasn't Fabian. Because Fabian bumped. This is me going. We're not going to discuss the accident. Fabian bumped Rick into the wall.
Yeah.
Caused a lot of damage already to the car, and Rick said, "Once soon as we hit that, we're in limp mode."
Yeah.
And so he's slowed. There was that much spray, and because we're doing these races at dumb times, the sun's coming down, and you can see on all the camera. And I will link the whole race. The highlights is basically the whole race, in the show notes. So if you haven't seen it, Fabian bumped Rick into the wall. Rick slowed down. Then I think it was Waters tapped Tander after that, because they sort of all got out of the way for Rick. Touching Tander, span Tander. Waters got away with it. And I was, at that time, I'll be honest, I was thinking, it was bloody Ford's fault. I think Waters, now I had time to calm down. He wasn't at fault.
No, I think it was a bit of an incident for everyone, really. It
I understand.
escalated a lot faster.
Well, the reason
than it
why he
normally
only got,
would've.
Fabian only got the 35 is because he didn't give Rick racing room. And
Yeah.
that's the penalty. And then that caused 12 cars to be put into a wall.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just one of those things. I think there was not much we could have done about, or anyone could have done about it. They were all trying pretty hard. They're all pushing in conditions that we're not really suited to racing, but good on them for going out there anyway. I think it's something sometimes. I hope this doesn't scare people away from
Wet racing.
Yeah, from we're just going to sit on our hands and we won't race because it's wet. I hope it doesn't, because this is an incident that happened. Yeah, someone got hurt as well. It's really hard to say.
I don't think it was because it was wet. I think wet played a little bit into it.
I think wet pretty much caused it.
But if Fabian didn't squeeze Rick...
yeah, but
then
I mean, that would have been a small incident, and then people would have been able to miss Rick. But because it was so wet with the spray and also not being able to change direction, because they're already grip limited, like they're all skating around out there basically unable to do anything with the cars. They're just literally dancing the cars around the track, and then all of a sudden the car pops up in front of you 200 meters up the road, pretty much stopped, and you're doing, say, 150. There's not much you can do about it. You're going to hit it. And
someone
people,
that did really well was
Lee Holdsworth. I was like, how the hell did Lee
the
do
replay
that?
of Charlie Schwartz? He's like, yes, that car
Finally.
didn't get hit.
Finally, we made it through a crash without it.
Lee actually said, he's like, well, I saw Garth get turned around, and then he saw Rick get turned around as well, and everything started unfolding. He's like, I just got off the loud pedal.
Yeah, he did really good job. Best job out of all of them, actually.
Courtney went around Lee.
Oh, poor
Courtney would have got through with it if it wasn't for Taz Douglas.
Taz,
mate, what'd you do?
Yeah, Taz, man, you were on the loud pedal way too long.
Yeah.
Way too long. Like, Courtney was in front of you, pretty much stopped, and you were still in the gas.
9 Gs. That's the force that James got pushed forward.
Was it 9 or? I thought it was
9 or
less.
7?
5.8 or something like that.
I
They
like
said
my
it was
number
harder.
bigger. It was a bigger acceleration than a Formula One car.
Yeah, and in Formula 1 cars only hit 6 Gs or something. Just under 6 Gs when they're braking.
Oh, whatever. 9 sounds better. Either way, it was a lot more than what you
Okay,
expected.
Donald Trump over here. False
it was
news.
huge. It's huge. Alternative facts.
Yeah. Alternative news over here. Meanwhile, we've got a war about to happen.
It's fine. I don't know if you read. It's completely off topic, but apparently Darwin is the place to go if a war does break out in Australia. It's apparently good for doomsday
Why is that?
because we get lots of water.
It's
And,
true, we do get lots of water.
we got lots of fresh water here. I mean, it's always, this is another completely off topic. Down south, you guys whinge, you're like, oh no, we've got 100 mil. What are we going to do? And then we can get like
We got
1,000 mil in a.
We got 300 mil, not this year, a couple of years ago, in 2 days.
Yeah,
This year we got
in one
nearly
year we got 1,700 mil when we had a cyclone form over us.
Well, we're over 2 meters so far this year is wet, and
We only
had
need like
nearly
another 20 mil
200
to break the record of the wettest wet.
we had 200 mil. This is not actually that long ago, about a month ago, in 1 day. It was 187 mil, I think, at the airport.
And we've also got another cyclone coming tomorrow. So, yay, more rain.
By the way, if you wanted a weather report from Darwin, being a fisherman, you got to learn these things. You got to keep an eye on this.
It's not a good time to go fishing. Anyway, so lots of cars got written off.
Water. That's where
Water.
we're
We're onto the rain.
Tasmania can't handle their shit.
It is a list to go through on the results. Taz Douglas, DNF.
DNF.
Oh, yeah, and we have touched on this. Will Davison, thoughts go out to him.
Yeah,
get well soon, mate.
Hopefully you can make it back for Phillip Island.
Hopefully Techno can get a car.
Yeah, well, there is some seriously big problems. I hope Will is okay because the way people were talking was not good. Especially when Jamie was saying he's 50-50 for the next round, which is not great. That must mean he's in some real strife.
Something a lot of the drivers all said, though, was, full credit to these cars. How strong they are. Like, yes, Will's in hospital, but
I think
he's you can see this with my claw hands.
He's quotating over here.
He's all right. Like, he's going to live.
Yeah, definitely.
It's...
His career's not over or anything.
Yeah. But you go... That crash. It's huge. He had something like... This could be alternative facts again. Something like 50 Gs or something of his impact. Or a lot of Gs.
Yeah. It's something that you actually were talking about earlier before we went on air. Scotty, he's basically made a statement that he thinks drivers should have more pull with the
track
deciding,
conditions.
Deciding whether the track's ready to race or not.
They're the best ones to go. Is it safe?
Exactly.
They're the ones that have to drive around in it.
Exactly.
So what are your thoughts on that?
I think I'm all for it. It's the same with Formula One. You hear, so Formula One's a bit better publicised with. We've bashed on about this before. V8s, please pick up your game with radio.
Oh, it's hopeless.
Don't talk over it and really focus on it. Have people dedicated just listening to the radios and play the good stuff like Formula One does.
Yeah, I don't
Formula
care
One's
if
delayed.
it's a lap, if it is delayed. But Crompo and Scafey, I know you're listening. Please don't talk over the radio.
I don't think it's Crompo and Scafey's fault. I think it's producers' fault, to be honest. They're not getting it up properly for them and stuff like that. It comes through in spits and spats, and it's not good radio.
There's a lot of times where it goes, there's the radio playing, and you don't hear anything.
Nothing comes out.
Nothing comes out. It's like, what? You're just like, shit, there you go, listen to them.
I think if it was better stuff coming through and it was more controlled, I think Compo and Scafey could do a really good job with it. I think they'd do very much like Formula One. Hang on, we've got radio coming through. Oh, yep, and then they could talk about it. At the moment, it's sporadic. If they pause, sometimes nothing comes through. It's not good. So it's something they need to pick up. Circling back now, Formula One does it a lot. So when they're out doing the safety car starts, so when they're out circulating behind the safety car, and you'll start hearing one driver goes, "We're ready to go here, Charlie. Let us go. Next car." Yep. Max will be on the phone going, "Let's get this race going. Why are we not going?" And you're just starting getting more and more drivers. That's a really good sign that the drivers think it's safe to go. You will get the odd skewed view, like our car's really strong in the wet, their cars aren't. Maybe I think we can make some ground here. We can make
and you
some
will
hay
get some drivers
while the
trying
sun's
to
not shining.
Do a little bit of going, "Oh no, it's too wet here, it's too wet, we can't go yet," and just because they just can't do it.
Yeah, so you will have to filter some of that out, but I think you do have to listen to the drivers and get a real gauge on what everyone's doing.
All right, quickly on to race 4. Well, the Shell-powered,
they're
V-powered racing team is on it again.
Yeah, they're starting to prove this is no fluke that they've been fast at the last 2 race meetings. They've got some serious car pace.
Something that I noticed from this race was FPR threw away positions.
Yeah, it's true. They did have dramas. And
Mostert did blame himself, and he's pretty pissed off over it. He threw away that race win.
Yep.
He came off, and God, when you see him come off around turns 6 and 7, how long it took him to get back up onto the track, onto speed and stuff like that. He
lost
7 positions.
Yeah,
I think he went down to 7th or 8th.
Yeah.
My biggest takeaway was Lowndes is looking very racy. He looked like the Lowndes of old.
He's looking aggressive again too, which was nice.
Well, it's
going to be touched on. Actually, Philip, we were talking about before. They haven't even come back with the
decision over the Waters and Lowndes incident.
Yeah, and there was another incident. I can't remember who it was.
It
Wood?
was.
Was it Wood?
No, Nick Percat and Todd Kelly.
Yeah, okay. So there's 2 incidents that the officials still have to evaluate, but they're not going to do that.
All other incidents got deemed no need.
Yeah. So they're going to evaluate that when they get to Phillip Island. I'm not sure whether they just want all the officials back together or whatnot. Get the drivers' views. Maybe there's something happening. I'm not sure what's the deal there. Normally it'd be resolved by now. But Lowndes looked aggressive again.
Yeah, what's your take on the Waters incident? Do you
I
think it was
love it.
like, mate, you pushed him out in the water? What's a little bump and run between friends?
I love it. I don't think we should be encouraging bump and runs, but I do think we should be encouraging a little bit of return serve.
Yeah, I mean, Lowndes wouldn't have bump and runned him if he didn't get pushed into the water.
Yeah, I think we got to not take that. Lowndes didn't do anything silly. He didn't shaft him into the gravel trap or anything. Lowndes just made him make the decision of, well, I'm up the inside now. You give him a little tap, made him
just a bit of Morse code, like I'm here.
Get him a little bit sideways. They all do it all the time, to be honest. We don't pick up on it.
So many,
you're
like, what, bump and run? You're like, yeah, you just can't actually like hit them, push them out, and then go.
Yeah, and he just unsettled the car a little bit. And I think it was just a little bit gamesmanship from just before. I don't think Lowndes would have done it if he hadn't have been forced out. Because you could see Waters edge right. Waters was nearly on the waterline when he should have been sticking to the dry part of the track. But he was just edging Lowndes out into where it was really bad.
Oh, there was like 3 car widths on the other side. I mean, he didn't do technically anything.
No, he
wrong.
left him racing room, but he just fed him out into the stuff. And Lowndes
Didn't
then
like
did
it.
return serve. He gave him a little bump, and then he fed him onto the marbles and the wet stuff on the outside.
And then he was looking very aggressive. Like, Lowndes was looking aggressive against Whincup.
He was.
To the point that I thought Whincup was like, because Shane did a very smart thing when Lowndes was on pace and pretty much just let him go past turn 3.
Yeah.
Because, I mean,
Yeah.
Shane got the 15-second time penalty, which I'm 50-50 on. Kelly did lock up going into the hairpin.
Yeah.
It was a bit, what are you going to do? But either way, got the 15-second time penalty. Can't do it.
Yeah, it was quite funny that because they've employed the same rules that Formula One have this year. Sort of, unless someone's at 100% fault, they weren't really going to implement penalties.
And that's why I thought, I'm like, if Kelly didn't lock up and, Shane hit him, fair enough. But you did lock up, you sort of span a bit. But either, that was the race. Shane did a very good job I think he finished 9th overall. Yeah, 9th overall. So he's still leading the championship by 20 points.
Yeah, that's
but
strong.
Fabian is looking strong and, dare I say it, stronger than Scotty.
Yeah, I think Scotty hasn't had much go his way so far this year. So I think look out Fabs. I think he can come back and be quite strong and quite good. We're going to have quite a good championship this year, I reckon. It's not going to be 1 or 2. Although last year's championship was actually quite good as well.
Oh, yeah, I loved it.
We had, you had basically for a while there, you had 4 Triple Eight cars doing quite well. Plus, who else was in the mix? There was someone else in the mix.
Scotty was up there a bit.
Yeah, Scotty. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So this is starting to look like it could be a good championship.
This could be a
couple
fight.
We got a couple of teams really fighting for it, and we're only early in the year as well, so some other people could join the fight as well.
Well, Shell V-Power are leading the Constructors' Championship.
Yeah, it's really strong effort.
Are they team or Constructors in V8s?
Team championship.
Team championship, because they're not really Constructors. But we've talked about the V8s for a while now, and we still have
Formula
One. Whole Formula One to go into. So jumping into Formula One.
Smog.
Mate, my helicopter can't land. What are we going to do?
We're just going to move some surgeons around and we'll be fine.
Yeah, so if you don't know about that, FP1 and FP2 were pretty much cancelled. FP1 got very much delayed. FP2 was a non-event.
It was exciting TV watching. I Honestly, I watched the whole FP2 and I was like, when is it going to start? When
I
is it
feel
gonna
sorry
start?
for your wife
Yeah,
having to sit there and watch Darth Vader on the screen.
Darth Vader, Sith Lord.
If you haven't seen that is great and good on the FOM for it.
We're going to post that on our Facebook page. That is
Yeah.
fantastic. It's
Um,
one of the best things. He put on a great show, to be honest. Darth, if you can just come to every event when there's a little bit of a stoppage, just come out and do your hand movement to control and strangle whoever. Maybe the cameraman was getting strangled. I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, he should probably go to Christian Horner and be like, your lack of pace is disturbing.
He is wearing a Red Bull shirt. It is true. And
but yeah, just the
he has the
on-screen
Ferrari
graphics
coloured
for it.
lightsaber there as well.
Well, red one. That's Darth Vader's thing.
I know.
But yeah, no, that's I mean, it was good, and there was something else I haven't seen. Did you see the fans with Sebastian Vettel, and there's VETTEE, and like then they cut to Vettel in the car, and he does a little like, no, you need an L, and then they cut back to them, and they replaced it with an L, and then they cut back to Sebastian, and then he does the OK symbol, and then the crowd goes, yeah. If I find that video, if the FOM hasn't taken it down, I'll put it up.
FOM, please stop doing
Stop
this.
taking down all these videos.
This is free publicity. People want to watch this stuff. It's
They
funny.
take them down all the time. That's why I'm using these weird websites to host the videos. But the FOM is getting better at videos and stuff.
I agree. The FOM has come a long way since we
Since,
no
like,
longer have the Sith Lord Darth Vader. I mean, Bernie
Bernie.
Eccleston.
Yeah, Bernie's gone.
Well, okay. There's not too much to talk about other than it was pretty dismal weather, smog. Qualifying was not so good for Max. He had a engine problem, which was, to begin with, I thought it was an actual engine problem, but it was a software problem. They managed to sort that out for race day.
Oh, the old mate hero, Antonio Giovinazzi, that
Yes.
was hero in Australia.
Hero to
Zero
zero.
crashed out.
Yes, he
Big
cost
time.
Sauber a little bit of money this weekend.
That's really easy to do on that turn. I do it all the time in F1 2015.
Yeah, he got caught out and
I just get on the gas too early. That's my problem.
2 times on the same little bit of road too.
Yeah, and it was really odd, like, jumping to the race, watching his crash highlights. You go, and this caught the commentators out too. Marcus
He
Ericsson goes out on the AstroTurf and sort of does a little wobble and almost loses it.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, and this is where he hits it. And then the other Sauber plows into the wall. It's like,
Yeah, you
that was
think-
the wrong one.
you think it's him because he's on the Astro, and then all of a sudden, nope, he was not that far on the Astro. He just sort of did a bit of a swerve jig and aquaplaned, and then it was all over.
Yeah.
What did you think? Sorry.
No, you go on.
What did you think, Michael, of Alonso's sort of self? What do you call
Promotion?
it? Promotion. Yeah. Look how good I'm doing, everybody. Everybody, come look how good I look.
I'm going to agree with Martin Brundle. This is all he can do at the moment, isn't it?
What did he say? He said
There was saying I was watching a live feed on Reddit. It's really good. If you guys do go to reddit.com/Formula One during the race, and there'll be a live feed. It's a group of moderators that will post up all team radios, who's pitting, who's out, all the information that you need throughout the race. Not all the commentators will talk about. And Alonso was told Sainz is the fastest on track. And then Alonso goes, yeah, but I am the fastest in the corners.
Yeah.
All right.
What did he say? I'm driving like an animal in qualifying.
I'm driving like an animal. That's a video as well. If I find that, I'll put that in the show notes.
He really is driving the wheels off that car.
He has to.
He's dragged it
That
so
car's
far
a
up
piece
the
of
field.
shit.
He's dragged it so far up the field a couple times now, and it's his skills. He definitely hasn't lost it.
And a big shout out to hasmclarenbrokendown.com. Yes, they have. This
Yeah.
gets updated live throughout the race. If you go to it right now, it says, it's a full house. Drive shaft failure for Alonso. Breakdown on the 2007 April 9th.
2017.
That's the one. China, they've had 11 breakdowns this year. It's Formula One's most reliably unreliable car.
It is true. They are pretty unreliable. Poor Stoffel's not getting many laps under his belt at the moment.
No. Well, he had a fuel issue as well.
Again.
Yeah.
Fuel pump issue. Lost fuel pressure. Had to limp it back. They're not having a good run. Honda, pick up the game, please, quickly.
Well, Honda keep talking about, we're in talk of another team to supply their engines. I'm like,
Yes.
who?
Sauber.
How much money are they going to give Sauber?
I don't think they're just maybe not going to charge them very much for engines.
Here's free engines.
Yeah,
Free engines for a year.
There's talk that basically maybe with more engines out there, there'll be more failures, yes, but there'll be faster development. So that is
I
one.
can kind of get that, but
yeah.
I mean, like, Sauber using Ferraris.
Yeah, I would not be going away from a Ferrari.
You're the head of Sauber, right?
Yeah, I would.
And you're paying to get Ferrari engines. Would you go, all right, we'll get some heavily discounted Honda engines, or are you going to be like, oh, let's stick with a proven,
Yeah, look, it would obviously depend on my financial position.
I mean,
if I could afford.
Sauber is a team that's done some weird decisions, and this is another off-topic thing. Remember Gio from last year? Vandergaard?
Oh,
Vandergaard?
yeah.
Well, there was a post up there going, I think Formula One posted saying, like, who would be your pick a driver for the, if you could choose one driver, who would it be? And Gio Vandergaard posted up going, can I pick 3? Do you remember last year in Melbourne where they had the 3?
Remember.
Yeah, that was a good little jab. No, you don't find it as funny as I did?
Yeah, it was quite an awkward one for them where they decided they would take 3 people's money.
Yeah, and only give 2 drivers.
Yeah.
So Sauber's got a track record of doing dumb stuff, so maybe they will go to Honda.
Maybe. I would probably
Stay
stay
really
with
far
Ferrari.
away. I'll be like, oh, look at that Honda. Yeah, that's
especially after like you get Red Bull are going to be pretty thankful that they're blocked by Ron Dennis from getting Honda engines because they wanted the Honda engine when they had the fight.
when they were they're having their divorce.
And then Ron Dennis come out and said no one can have Honda engines apart from us because Honda engines are going to be what wins us the world championship. We want the advantage, and we don't want any of the other teams to have it. They've got a real good advantage.
Yeah, have that advantage.
I'm not sure what it is, but maybe it's they can use fuel faster to make less power to cut down on weight and then save later in the race. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't have all the facts, but they've got it and they can keep it.
Yeah. I don't think anyone's fighting them for Honda engines right now.
No. All right. We're running very long.
I think McLaren's maybe fighting to not have Honda engines right about now.
Yeah, I know. There's all this talk about going,
mid-season they were going to change. I'm like, that can't happen. There's too much error.
There's a lot of development done through that. Anyway, back Max. How great was Max in the race?
Unbelievable.
I mean, we'll just quickly run through this race.
Yeah, he really did deserve driver of the day. He had a great race. And if you tell me you can't pass in Formula 1 now, tell that to Max because he doesn't believe it. He just went out there and
finds
got after
grip
it.
where there is none in these
I think
weird
he's a
conditions.
Bit more reckless, ballsy, balls of steel.
Mate, I was reckless too when I was 19.
I think
nothing could hurt me then.
I think when he'll make dive passes, and I think he relies on the fact that, okay, I'm behind the car, I've got no feeling, I've got no steering, and my brakes, I can't brake as close to them and stuff like that. But he knows once he pulls out into the clean air, he's gonna have that. But yeah, I think he does really risk it a little bit more than maybe some of the other drivers, and it's been paying off, and it's been making him look amazing.
Look great.
Yeah.
Like, all right, so we had Giovinazzi put it into the wall, brought out the safety car. Well, first there was a virtual safety car with Stoffel Van Dorn. No, it wasn't. It was Lance Stroll that got put into the grass.
Lance and Perez had a little bit of an incident and decided to break off a wheel off Lance's car.
Poor Lance, that's 2 DNFs.
Yeah, I know. He's not getting a lot of track time either.
No, it must cost them a lot of money. It's like
£70 million or something for the year.
Yeah, but
plus
so do you think Ferrari made the right call? I mean,
No.
in hindsight, you don't know. Obviously, yeah, we know that now. But
I thought that was a trick question. I'm like, do you think they
do
made
you
it?
think they made the right call? No,
I'm
I
like,
don't
is
think
there
they
something
did.
I haven't read? No, definitely not.
Definitely not. Bad call. You would have
But
stayed
unlucky.
out. You would have stayed out, not knowing there was going to be a safety car.
Look, I don't have the lap times in front of me. I think Saints was struggling still on the slicks. I don't know what the evolution of the lap times was. I didn't have live timing on yesterday. I probably should have.
I couldn't get I haven't been able to get F1 live timing to work at all.
But yeah, that is probably where you need to be watching. You needed to be watching how much the Saints was getting closer to the wet time. The big problem they had was they pulled Sebastian in. No one else came in with him. So I think he needed some of those cars in between him and Hamilton. Say Hamilton stay out, but some of the other ones to come in as well and move to slicks, and then he wouldn't have been stuck.
Well, he got stuck behind that train.
Yeah, with slick tires, with wet offline, it just was not. Look, in hindsight, yes, it was not a good condition, a good decision, but it just might have paid off if it had worked. If it had dried a little bit more and the virtual safety car lasted a couple more laps and he was able to keep temperature, which he wasn't. There just so many things just went against him, and that was it. That was his race was essentially.
But when he did get past, that pass on Ricciardo.
Once his car lit up.
And that's good driving by both of them, really.
It's something Martin Brundle touched on it, and we were talking about it earlier. DRS seems pretty much useless.
Yeah.
Which I'm not that upset with.
No,
but
I would be happy if
passing,
they got rid of it.
The passing now is genuine. Like, it is like proper passes again.
I still want to see a few more races. Like, because we had bugger all in Australia.
I don't think I think we're going to see less passing. I just think the passes we're going to see is like what Martin was saying. They are genuine passes now. So we're not going to see as many. Yeah, we're not going to see as many passes, but the ones you see are going to be hard fought for. They're going to be risky. They're going to be ballsy, and they're going to really push the drivers to being aware of each other and stuff like that, because they're going to be late minute lunges and stuff like that. It's looking quite good. I think if we can adapt these rules a little bit more next year and the year after, we could have some really good racing on our hands.
What do you think about Mercedes saying to Hamilton, yeah, we can go to the end on these tyres are like lap 10?
10, yeah. Look,
ambitious.
Honestly, I don't know. Because
I mean, they probably could have if everyone else stayed on it. And I think that was a good call by Red Bull to force everyone else's hand.
I think the problem was they don't have the data. We haven't had enough running on these tyres and stuff like that. We probably, next year will be a lot better once we get all the data from this year. And if they don't change the tyres, because I know Pirelli have 2 different compounds for all of the compounds. So they got a different compound for the softs, hards, mediums, extra, super softs, ultra softs and all that. They have a different type of rubber for them. So they can quite quickly, they said it's all there if FOM decide they want to change it and go back to what we had last year with the degradation, which could make the racing a bit more exciting, but it also will take away from the pushing. At the moment, I think we kind of need the good tyres because it helps them with passing and stuff like that. Because they can overcommit. Like they're saying,
you can light up your tyres a couple of times and you're not going to kill them.
Yeah. Where last year you kind of went for one big lunge and that was it. If you cooked the tyre on that big lunge, that was it. Honestly, that they couldn't fight again. They just coast.
Yeah. Where
this year you can go for a big lunge and maybe overheat the tyre a little bit, but then and the tyre will come back to them. So I don't know what the real answer there is. Maybe they could try it for a meeting and see what the racing does, but they do have those 2 compounds, and it would be interesting to see what it would be like with higher degradation. At the moment, that race was not that boring. It was a little bit boring in the middle, but pretty much every F1 race is.
You know,
we get a lull in the middle.
You got to forget it. You got to remember that the races definitely go through stages where it's the race to the first pit stop, who comes out in which position, and then you've got the last 10, 15 laps. When all the strategies sort of bunch up together.
I
agree, it didn't help that you had the rain affected and we didn't get the different tire strategies. Because I mean, Red Bull
Softs,
did a pretty
hards,
good job
mediums,
running on the
whatever.
ultra softs the whole time.
Yeah, I think they picked the faster tyre, and it seemed to work for them because I think everyone was being ambitious and thinking they could make it to the end on a super soft, and
Which
Red
made
Bull
me think a lot.
went,
Why did
"No."
everyone go back and put the softs? Like, why didn't Vettel come in and set a super softs on in the
Some
last
of the
stint?
teams didn't
They
bring
didn't
as
have a
met-
set. Yeah,
So Ricardo was one of the only cars left
with a brand new set of
new
super softs. Yeah, I remember that now. As soon as I said it, I'm like, you dickhead.
set.
Okay, I retract that statement. But still,
But still, why didn't they? What?
why didn't they go steal a
You're like,
set?
shut up.
We've been going for a long time.
It is a long time. We apologize for the break in this transmission. Yes, it is. I think a lot of the teams' hands were tied on tyre strategy. It will be interesting to see how they go later in the year and whether Pirelli or FOM decide they want to change it.
I'm just having a look to see when the next race is.
Next weekend. Bahrain.
Not next weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. They're going to race over Easter.
Yeah.
Good. Finally gets us off this double episodes. That's why we're long this week. We have to do
sorry.
both.
Sorry, everybody. We got
We're triple. Now we're covering a bit more of the
Dunlop series
Dunlops.
as well. Yeah.
Because there was big crashes to talk about.
Yeah. That will.
Hamilton come home first in that race.
He did. He drove a pretty good race. Did everything
They
he
look
needed
happy.
to do.
They both, even Vettel looked happy.
I know. I'm kind of sick of Hamilton saying this is going to be his hardest championship to win, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you didn't win last year.
Yeah,
and
that
no matter
that
how
must
much
have
you
been
can hide,
super hard. Yeah,
you
he was
hide
really
beh-
butthurt last year.
He had a lot behind failures, and I know there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there that Mercedes wanted to give it to Nico. I think you're all crazy. If you actually look at a lot of these teams have a lot of members working in them. If you were trying to keep something like that secret, it wouldn't stay secret.
Yeah,
That you can't tell
tried to give
mechanics
it to Nico.
Yeah, you can't tell mechanics to make Lewis's car fail.
Yeah, because then it was it'll come out. You got
Yeah.
a team of 200-300 people working on these cars.
Oh, Mercedes even more, like 600
Mm.
employees. That shit's not going to stay silent. So wake up. Failures happen. Nico had it the year before, and Lewis got it last year, and it's just one of those things. I think Nico drove a bit better last year as well. So
Sorry, I just looked at the local time start for the our local time start for the race. I mean, it's good that qualifying and the V8s were on at the same time this time.
hey, Monday's a public holiday, thank
Oh
God.
yeah, thank God, Easter, yay, Jesus.
Jesus rose again.
Jesus, I will raise again after all that alcohol I'm going to drink this weekend.
So we can watch the
12:30
race.
Darwin time. So if you're in Darwin listening, it's 12:30 Monday morning.
Sunday night, Monday morning.
And if you're not, you can convert it to your local time from wherever it's 12:30 Darwin time. Work it out. We have to work it out every other time.
So yeah.
All right.
And that probably not too much more to talk about with the Formula One. There's a lot of stuff happening. Valtteri.
Valtteri, yeah.
His engineer had a little bit of dramas with that over
That
the
was-
weekend.
yeah,
Tony
but-
Ross had a
Tony
Little
Ross
bit
hasn't
of-
worked with another driver.
little bit of dramas with calling Valtteri Nico.
Yeah, but in Tony Ross's defense, he had trouble calling Nico sometimes too. He mixed it up.
It's true. Yeah, that was another interesting thing from the race.
So who's your pick for Bahrain?
Bahrain. I'm gonna go Vettel again.
Vettel?
Yeah. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think race Vettel. I think qualifying Hamilton. I just still think the Mercedes have it in qualifying. Like
I think
Hamilton's
I think-
car is.
we got two different types of cars, haven't we? Really?
We've got a race car and we've got a qualifying car.
Yeah.
We've got a car that if Lewis can get off the line in front,
Yeah.
he's
he
going to
can-
drive away with it. These Mercedes can't drive in traffic.
Yeah, and I also think Sebastian's car. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't just say Sebastian. The Ferrari is quite a strong race car.
Mm-hmm.
It looks
The same
after
we
its
talked
tyres
about-
and everything.
I talked with
Yeah.
Mitch last week was going when Sebastian was behind Mercedes or Hamilton in Australia, that car looked good.
Yeah.
It looked planted. It looked like it went where it needed to go. And Hamilton whinged and whinged and whinged when he was stuck in traffic.
How long do you reckon till Red Bull are going to have some updates that are going to
Europe.
make a serious change
Europe.
in this car?
Um,
They were talking about they wanted them at China.
Yeah, they
and
didn't
now
arrive. I reckon.
Bahrain could be.
Nah, they're not going to
Close.
look like until Spain at least. When they get
Well,
back
they
home.
said their big one will be Barcelona.
That's Spain.
So that's where they reckon they're going to have their greatest effect. They want to be back up on pace by then.
And
I think that's slightly ambitious.
I'm looking forward to the European rounds. I quite like the racing on Sunday night.
It is.
It's like 9:30, 10 o'clock.
It's.
Go
I
to watch
don't
racing.
like the Canadian and
Canadian
American.
one's all right because it always falls on Queen's birthday. 3:30 in the morning, Canadian
Yeah,
Grand Prix.
it's not great.
Anyway, we are just going well off tangent here. This is a very
Anyway,
this is a
sorry
very
about that,
Darwin
everybody.
show. You know about our news channels. You know about our weather. You know about our upcoming cyclone that's going to hit tomorrow. It's going to hit on Tuesday. You're going to listen to this on Thursday, so it would have been done and dusted by then. Guess what? We're still here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't forget to hit us up on Facebook.
Yep.
We're facebook.com/Breaking Late. Head to our website, breakinglate.com, if you have any questions or if you want to email us to say, you guys just ramble on too much. What's our email address, JD? Do you know it?
Yeah, I can't remember it.
It's breakinglate@gmail.com.
There you go.
Yeah, thanks to everyone for listening, guys. You guys are awesome. We will be back
Next week.
next week.
And then the week after.
Yeah, Phillip Island.
Yep, probably the week after that, no doubt.
Yep. God, they've managed to line this up to just really make us work. April 30th. Yeah, we will be back. We're going to be doing week after week after week. So to the people that have written into us asking us for weekly episodes, you've got your wish.
Yeah.
We're on a weekly time schedule.
Yeah.
Thank you, FIA. FIA.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
we're
let's
going to
probably-
go.
We should probably
Otherwise, this is
leave you
going to go.
guys to maybe do whatever you guys need to do.
All right, thanks, guys.
See
Catch
ya.
you later.
Bye.